Western population remains largely unfamiliar with Asia and the way of life on this continent. Consequently, our understanding of the Democratic Republic of Korea, or North Korea, remains remarkably limited. Distinct from any other location in the world, this East Asian country has consistently emphasized isolating its citizens, particularly since the armistice of the Korean War in 1953. Governed by megalomaniacs and paranoid leaders, North Korea operates within such seclusion that the inner workings of the nation remain shrouded in secrecy, with only the testimonies of spies and defectors providing glimpses into its reality. Our knowledge of North Korea is strictly governed by the information allowed by its leadership. Number 8. Basketball rules. It is widely known that North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un possesses a deep passion for basketball, particularly for the 1990s Chicago Bulls, and holds great admiration for basketball legends Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman. In South Korea, basketball is played with a rather peculiar and unconventional set of scoring rules. These rule changes were reportedly initiated by Kim Jong-un's father, the late North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il, from whom Kim Jong-un inherited the title in 2011. It is believed that Kim Jong-un has also made some additions of his own to these regulations. Let's take a closer look at North Korea's unusual basketball rules. Firstly, slam dunks are worth an impressive 3 points. Secondly, three-point shots receive 4 points if the ball does not touch the rim. Furthermore, a deduction of 1 point is imposed for every missed free throw shot. Additionally, any field goal made within the last 3 seconds of a game is rewarded with an astounding 8 points. Lastly, games can conclude in a tie, unlike traditional basketball rules. While these rules certainly add a sense of excitement to the typical basketball game, no reputable league, including the NBA, would ever consider adopting any of these unique guidelines. Number 7. Imprisoned by association. In North Korea, people are frequently subjected to imprisonment without trial, often for seemingly insignificant offenses such as tuning into a foreign radio station, discarding a paper containing a picture of Kim Jong-il, or making a casual remark perceived as insulting to the regime. It is not uncommon for people to be arrested and incarcerated without any understanding of the reasons behind their detention. A common strategy employed by the North Korean government to maintain control is to intimidate potential offenders or individuals who might engage in activities disapproved of by the regime by threatening harm to their families. North Korean law encompasses a concept known as 3 generations of punishment. This means that if someone commits a crime, their children and grandchildren will also bear the full weight of punishment, often resulting in a lifetime of imprisonment. Children born in prison are raised as prisoners, as their lineage is deemed inherently guilty. Entire families have been imprisoned for minor infractions committed by a single family member against the state. Nephews and cousins have faced discrimination and job termination due to the actions of distant relatives whom they may not even know. The infamous Kaichon internment camp, widely known as Camp 14, is a common destination for many of these prisoners. The primary objective of this internment camp is to isolate individuals deemed politically unreliable by the North Korean government and exploit their labor. Those sent to the camp include officials perceived to have underperformed, individuals critical of the regime, their children, anyone born within the camp, and anyone suspected of engaging in activities deemed anti-government. Prisoners are forced to work in coal mines or factories involved in textile, paper, food, rubber, shoe, ceramic, and cement production. Among the prisoners, livestock raising is considered a preferred occupation as it offers opportunities to steal animal feed and scavenge for undigested grains in animal droppings. Number 6. Religious freedom in North Korea. Religious freedom in North Korea is among the most oppressive in the world. Despite the North Korean constitution supposedly guaranteeing freedom of religion, the reality is that this freedom does not exist in practice. As a result, North Korea is effectively an atheist state. Christians and other religious believers in North Korea face severe persecution, surpassing that of any other religious minority globally. The mistreatment of Christians, in particular, is marked by extreme brutality. Engaging in prayer, worship, congregating, or possessing sacred texts is met with harsh penalties, including torture and imprisonment. Although there are 3 Protestant churches, 1 Catholic church, and 1 Russian Orthodox church in Pyongyang, the capital city of North Korea, they function merely as state-controlled facades. The true nature of religion in North Korea is exemplified by Kim Jong-un's demand for absolute loyalty to himself from the North Korean people. The North Korean constitution deliberately restricts religious freedom to prevent any religious ideology from posing a perceived threat to the political status quo. According to research conducted by non-governmental organizations based on testimonies from defectors, it is estimated that as many as 70,000 Christians, along with believers from other religions, have been imprisoned in labor camps. Defectors have revealed that the North Korean government actively encourages citizens to report any unauthorized religious activities or possession of religious materials, including Bibles. Additionally, defectors have disclosed that due to the fear of being labeled disloyal to the North Korean government and reported to the authorities, Christians in the country often hide their religious practices from family members, neighbors, co-workers, and others. There have been several documented incidents, including the imprisonment of an entire family in 2009, solely based on their religious practices and possession of a Bible. The family, including a 2-year-old child, received life sentences in prison camps. Christians who have managed to escape from North Korean prison camps have recounted the horrific conditions they endured, including extreme malnutrition, forced consumption of contaminated food, verbal and physical abuse, and even execution. Now it's time for today's subscribers pick. This picture shows 2 ladies in a public restroom. They are standing and urinating in an unusual way with their faces turned away from the camera. Who might these ladies be, and what could be the reason behind their unconventional approach to peeing? Do you know of any other differences between North Korean ways of daily life and the life you live on the daily? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Number 5. Freedom of movement. In North Korea, the freedom to move around is severely restricted by the government. People are not allowed to move between provinces or travel abroad without obtaining prior approval, as it is considered illegal. To travel within the country, even for family visits, individuals must possess the necessary documentation. Certification issued by the People's Committee in the relevant province or city is required. Sightseeing opportunities in North Korea are limited to specific locations such as Mount Paektu and the Paektu Secret Camp, which is claimed to be the birthplace of North Korea's second leader, Kim Jong-il. Field trips are organized for model workers, students, laborers, and farmers from all over the country. However, the fear of political punishment often compels individuals to participate, even if they may not have a strong desire to go. The activities of foreign visitors in North Korea are also closely monitored by the government, with aid workers facing substantial scrutiny. They are restricted from accessing certain places and regions that the government does not want them to enter. Also, according to North Korean law, leaving the country without permission is considered a crime of treachery against the nation, punishable by death. Despite the risks involved, some individuals bravely attempt to escape from North Korea. However, if caught, they face severe punishments, including brutal beatings, forced labor, torture, and internment in political prison camps. Border guards have strict orders to shoot anyone entering or leaving without permission. There have been reports of border guards shooting North Koreans attempting to leave the country, leading to some fatalities. Number 4. The price of disrespect. Under Kim Jong-un's rule, all North Koreans are required to pledge loyalty and obedience to him, his family, and the state. Any action or statement that could be perceived as an insult to Kim's family or the North Korean government is considered blasphemy and met with severe punishment. This applies not only to North Korean citizens but also to immigrants and tourists. Engaging in anything deemed a threat or insult can result in imprisonment or even execution. In January 2020, it was reported that a mother faced potential imprisonment for prioritizing the rescue of her children over saving a portrait of former President Kim Il-sung during a fire. You see, North Korea mandates that every home prominently display paintings of its past leaders, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, and sends inspectors to ensure compliance. It is required that all depictions of the Kim family be treated with the same reverence as the leaders themselves, making neglect or improper care of the portraits a serious offense. Failing to wipe off the dust from the portraits is enough to be considered guilty, so every family is provided with a special duster. Disrespectful acts in North Korea extend beyond these circumstances. Even seemingly small acts, such as falling asleep during a meeting while Kim is speaking, can result in capital punishment. For example, in 2015, North Korean Defense Minister Hyun Yong-chol was executed in front of over 100 people using an anti-aircraft gun for alleged failure to carry out instructions and for dozing off during one of Kim Jong-un's events. In 2016, North Korea even prohibited sarcastic remarks about Kim Jong-un or the totalitarian regime in everyday conversations. Indirect criticism of the government was strictly banned as it was seen as a sign of disrespect. Party officials held numerous mass meetings across the country to warn citizens that making ironic statements like, "This is all America's fault," would be illegal and unacceptable. Such retorts had become popular among citizens as a way to mock officials for consistently blaming North Korea's failures on the West. The consequences for disobedience can result in individuals and their families being forcibly removed from society and sent to political prison camps. Number 3. Energy struggles. Energy shortages are a common occurrence in North Korea, leading to frequent blackouts in most areas. This satellite image, taken by NASA in 2014, vividly illustrates the lack of electricity in the country. North Korea's electricity supply is insufficient to maintain continuous illumination during the night. In the mid-1990s, the country's energy supply was entirely cut off by the Soviet Union. While neighboring countries such as South Korea and China brightly shine at night, North Korea has struggled to keep up with their level of lighting. This has negatively impacted the country, creating an impression of lesser development compared to its neighbors. In South Korea, the average person consumes 10,162 kilowatt-hours of power annually, while North Koreans only use 739. As a result, entire streets experience shutdowns, and people retire to bed early due to the lack of activities in the darkness. In 2019, it was estimated that 55% of North Korean households relied on solar panels for their energy needs. Despite the energy scarcity, the city of Sinuiju, which is located across the border from China, receives only 4 hours of electricity per day. However, residents in areas visible from China are required to keep their lights on at night. Authorities have even instructed them to generate their own power to meet this requirement. This is because the North Korean government is concerned about how the outside world perceives the country and has historically made efforts to present parts of the country visible from South Korea and China as more prosperous than they actually are. Number 2. Silencing the online voice. Millions of North Koreans face immense difficulty in accessing the internet. While internet availability exists in North Korea, it is strictly controlled and limited to those with special authorization. The country possesses certain broadband infrastructure, including fiber optic links between major institutions. However, most individuals and institutions rely on a domestic-only network called Kwangmyong, with access to the global internet restricted to a select few. Access to the internet remains tightly regulated, with estimates suggesting that the total number of internet users in North Korea is only a few thousand. It is believed that high-ranking officials, members of non-governmental organizations, and government ambassadors have unrestricted access to the global internet. Non-elites who require internet access for work or important matters must undergo a rigorous approval process, which reportedly takes several days. Once approved, individuals are subjected to continuous surveillance. A librarian is assigned to monitor 2 internet users simultaneously, keeping a close watch on their online activities. Every 5 minutes, the screen freezes automatically, and the librarian must perform fingerprint authentication to allow further internet use. Additionally, approved users are limited to 1 hour of internet access, and any extension requires another round of approval. Limited internet access is permitted in North Korea's academic institutions. For example, professors and graduate students at Pyongyang University of Science and Technology can access the internet through a monitored computer lab. These individuals are primarily tasked with retrieving scientific and technical information that can be posted on the national intranet. In April 2016, North Korea initiated a block on popular social media platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and South Korean websites. This action was taken due to the government's concerns about the spread of online information. Number 1. Employment under state control. On paper, the employment rate in North Korea is reported as 100%, as the law states that every citizen has the right and duty to work. According to the Constitution, individuals are supposed to choose occupations based on their preferences and skills, and they are promised stable jobs and working conditions. However, the reality is quite different. The job-seeking process in North Korea is not like in most other countries. In North Korea, individuals do not have the freedom to choose their jobs. Instead, jobs are assigned by the state. In this system, one's desired occupation has little influence on the actual job they are assigned. For example, high school graduates are required to fill out a document provided by the department, which is then evaluated by their schools. The schools send the document back to the department, which screens the graduates and assigns them work within enterprises in their respective regions. So if someone graduated from an agricultural high school, they will be sent to work on a farm. If they graduated from a technical high school, they will be assigned to a factory. Graduates from general high schools could be sent anywhere. College graduates, on the other hand, may have their major taken into consideration during the job assignment process. They often have an interview with a party official, but in many cases, they do not have the freedom to choose where they want to work. In essence, the party and administrative agencies in North Korea determine citizens' occupations based on their social caste and political inclinations, rather than their abilities or qualifications. Once a job is assigned, it is difficult for people to change their positions freely. In fact, most North Koreans hold on to their jobs until they retire, as job mobility is limited under this system. We hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.